Welcome to C and C++ programming under EPG Pathshala. Today we will start with module inheritance. As we have seen in object-oriented programming, the reusability is a main feature of object-oriented programming. Inheritance is the way or the means to implement the reusability in C++. In inheritance, we can use the properly predefined code in the new classes. Only thing that we have to remember is we cannot make the changes to this predefined code. In real life also, we can see many examples of inheritance. Something like squares, triangles, hexagons are all 2D shapes. So, they can be grouped together under the class shape. Office staff, college employees, lecturers, technical support staff are all employees. So, they can be grouped together under the employee class. Cars, buses, motorbikes are all under the class of vehicles. In inheritance, we can use the existing code and we can add the new features if you want into the code. So, in inheritance, we can use the predefined code instead of writing the code of the same member functions again and again. The class which is used for inheritance is called as a base class or the superclass, and the class which uses the inheritance or the existing code is called as a derived class or the subclass. So, we can have the relationship in inheritance as the base class and the derived class or the superclass and the subclass. In C++, there are different types of inheritance which are provided. Those are single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance and hybrid inheritance. So, let us start with the model now. Reusability is an important feature of object-oriented programming. C++, this particular concept can be used using the inheritance. In C++, classes can be reused in several ways. The inheritance uses the new classes and reuse the properties of the existing classes. The mechanism that allows us to extend the definition of a class without making any physical changes to the existing class is called as inheritance. Now, let us see the learning objectives of the inheritance module. We will learn about inheritance, study about defining derived classes, study about single inheritance, study about multi-level inheritance, study about multiple inheritance, study about hierarchical inheritance, learn about hybrid inheritance, study about virtual base classes, get familiar with constructors in derived classes. Inheritance is the key feature of object-oriented programming in C++, which allows user to create new classes from an existing class. The derived class inherits all the features of a base class and it can have additional features of its own. It is a mechanism of deriving new class from an already existing class. Inheritance provides the idea of reusability, that is, a code once written can be used again and again in number of new classes. The inheritance relationship enables a derived class to inherit features from its base class. The old class and the new class are called as a base and derived class or parent and child class or super and subclasses. The new class can use all or some of the features of the already existing class and can define the own features of its own. The derived class inherits some or all of its characteristics from the base class. The class can also inherit properties from more than one class or from more than one level. The different types of inheritance mechanisms that are supported by C++ are single inheritance, multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, multi-level inheritance and hybrid inheritance. The derived class can be defined by indicating the relationship with the base class in addition to its own details. As shown in the figure, the base class has some two features and in derived class these two features will be inherited plus the new features can be added to the derived class. We can define the derived class. A derived class can be defined by indicating the relationship with the base class in addition to its own details. The syntax is the class, derived class name, colon, the visibility mode and the base class name and the proper definition of the derived class. In the syntax, the colon specifies that the derived class name is derived from the base class. The visibility mode is optional. If present, either it may be private or public. The default visibility mode is private. The visibility modes of inheritance. There are three types of visibility modes. Those are public inheritance, private inheritance and protected inheritance. Now let's see how they are basically derived. The inheritance type can be private, public and protected. The base class members in private inheritance, the private members will not be inherited in derived class. Public members will become private members and protected members will become private members. In public inheritance, the base class private members will not be inherited in derived class. The base class public members will become public members in derived class. The base class protected members will become protected members of derived class. In protected inheritance type, the base class private members are not inherited at all. The public members will become protected members in derived class and protected members will become protected members of derived class. As you can see here, in all the three inheritance types, the private data members are never inherited into the derived class. Public inheritance is the most commonly used inheritance mode. In public derivation, the derived class can access the public and protected members of the base class but not the private members of the base class. In this type of inheritance, the protected member of superclass becomes protected members of the subclass and public members becomes the public. In this type of inheritance, since all the members and the functions can be declared in public section, therefore they can be accessed without any restriction from anywhere in the program. The syntax for single level inheritance is the class subclass colon public superclass. Example, class B colon public A. Here the line class B colon public A tells the compiler about inheriting class A in class B as public mode. All the public members of class A will become the public members of class B. All the protected members of class A will become protected members of class B and private members will not be inherited here. Private inheritance. In private mode, the protected and public members of superclass become private members of derived class. The default visibility mode is private. The syntax is the class subclass colon private superclass. The example, class B colon private A and the proper definition of class B. Here the line class B colon private A tells the compiler that class A is inherited in a public mode to class B. Here all the public members of class A will become the private members of class B. All the protected members of class A becomes the private members of class B and private members will not be inherited. Protected inheritance. C++ provides a visibility modifier protected which serves as a limited purpose in inheritance. Member declared as a protected is accessible by the member functions within its class and any class immediately derived from it. This kind of inheritance is mainly used in case of inheritance. Syntax, the class subclass colon protected superclass. The example can be class B colon protected A. Here the line class B colon protected A tells the compiler about inheriting class A in class B in protected mode, and it will also apply all the public members of class A becomes protected members of class B, all the protected members of class A becomes the protected members of class B and private members are never inherited. The keywords private, protected and public may appear in any order or in any number of times in the class. Single inheritance. It is a type of inheritance hierarchy where one derived class inherits from one base class. In this type of inheritance, there will be a derived class with only one base class. The syntax is the class base, the proper definition of the class with data members and functions, the class derived colon public base and proper definition of derived class with its data members and functions. A single inheritance mechanism can be represented using the following figure. Here the class A is inherited in class B, so arrow is shown from class A to class B. Now let's see the program to implement the single inheritance. Now here we will define two classes, class A and class B, and class B will be inherited in a public mode from class A. This is a very simple example that we are going to see for single inheritance. So let's start with the program. Hash include IOStream. Then we will have using namespace std, we will define our base class as class A. In that, in a public section we will define just one member function display A, and inside that we will display the message just as cout base class. The function ends and our class will end. Now let us define the derived class B colon public A. So here the class A has been inherited in the public mode. In public section of class B, we will have one function as display B. Here we will display the message as cout derived class. Our member function will end and our class will end. Now let us start with the main program. In main function, we will have integer main opening and closing bracket. We will define the object of derived class B as B1 is an object, and now we will call the two functions using the object B1 as B1 dot display A, after that B1 dot display B. Here it will execute the program and the output will be, the first message will be the base class and the second message will be derived class. So as we have seen, in class B we have derived class A, so the member function display A is again come into the derived class B. Multi-level inheritance. In this type of inheritance, there will be a mechanism of deriving a class from another derived class. In multi-level inheritance, there will be one base class and one derived class at one level. At the next level, the derived class becomes a base class for the next class and so on. Example, the multi-level inheritance can be represented as the class A is inherited in class B, class B is inherited in class C. So as you can see here, class A is a base class, class B is a derived class, and for the second level, class B is a base class and class C is a derived class. It can be represented as class A, that is a base class definition, class B colon public A and the definition of class B, then class C colon public B and the definition of class C. Now let us see the program to see the usage of multi-level inheritance. We will start with the program. Here we are going to define three classes, namely class A, class B and class C, and all these three classes, the visibility mode of inheritance will be public. So now let us start with the program. Hash include IOStream using namespace std. We will start with the main class, class A. Here we are going to define two data members which are private, integer A1, A2. In public section, we are going to define two member functions, get data and put data. In get data, we will display the message to the user, enter the value of A1 and A2 and we will take the values from the user as C in A1, A2. Our member function will end. In the second member function put data, we are going to display back the values on the screen as cout, the values of A1 is A and A2 is A2, and our member function will end and our class will end. Now our second class, class B, will inherit A in a public mode. So our definition will be class B colon public A. We will start with the class B. Here again we are going to have two data members B1, B2 which are of type integer in a private scope. In public we are going to have two functions, in data and out data. In data we are going to take the values of B1 and B2 from the user. We are going to display the message to the user, cout, enter the value of B1 and B2, will take the values from the user as C in B1, B2. Our function will end. Void out data, here we are going to display back the values of B1 and B2 as cout, the value of B1 is B1 and B2 is B2. Our member function will end and our class definition will end. Now our third class, class C, will inherit the class B as class C colon public B. Here C1 and C2 are private data members. In the public section again we will have two member functions, input and output. In input we will take the values of C1 and C2. So first we will display the message to the user, cout, enter the values of C1 and C2 and we will take the values as C in C1, C2. Our member function will end. In void output we are going to display back the values of C1 and C2 as cout, the value of C1 is C1 and the value of C2 is C2. Our member function will end and our class will end here. Now we will start with our main program, integer main. Here we are going to declare the object of only last class C as C object. And now we are going to access all the member functions of class A, class B using the object of class C. So first we will call the function as obj.getData. This will be a member function of class A. Then we will call obj.inData. This is a member function of class B. And then obj.input. This is a member function of class C. And here we are going to accept the values of A1, A2, B1, B2 and C1, C2. Now we will display all the values back on the screen. So here we are calling the function obj.putData, which is a member function of class A, obj.outData, which is a member function of class B, and obj.output, which is a member function of class C, and return 0. Our program will end here. Now when the above code is compiled and executed, it will produce the result as enter the value of A1 and A2. Suppose the values entered are 10 and 20. Then it will display the message enter the value of B1 and B2. Let's consider the values to be 12 and 14. And last it will display the message enter the value of C1 and C2. Suppose the values entered are 2 and 3. Then the output that will be displayed is the value of A1 is 10 and A2 is 20. The value of B1 is 12 and B2 is 14 and the value of C1 is 2 and C2 is 3. Multiple inheritance. In this type of inheritance, there will be a derived class with several base classes. In multiple inheritance, a child can have more than one parent, that is, a child can inherit the properties from more than one class. The syntax of derived classes with multiple base classes is shown as follows. The class derived : visibility mode base class 1, visibility mode base class 2 and proper definition of the class, and the class will end. In the above syntax, the visibility may be either public or private. It must that the base classes must be separated by comma. Now let's see the example of multiple inheritance. Here in the diagram, as you can see, A and B are two separate classes which are derived in class C. So class C is derived from two base classes A and B. The code to define the multiple inheritance will be class A, the proper definition of class A, class B, proper definition of class B, and class C will inherit as class C : public A, public B, and the proper definition of class C. In the above example, the mode need not be the same. We can have A in a public mode, B as a private mode, no change will be there. A class A may be inherited in public and class B in private, or whatever mode that has to be specified. It is a must that a mode has to be specified for both the classes separately. Now let's see the program to print the student details using the multiple inheritance. Here our three classes will be, first class will be student, second class will be sports, and the third class will be a statement. And the statement class is going to inherit student and sports class in public mode. Now let's start with the program. #include iostream. Using namespace std, we'll first write the student class as class student. We are going to have three data members: roll number, M1, M2, that is marks 1 and marks 2 of type integer in a protected mode. In public section, we are going to have one member function which is a void get function. Here we'll take the details of roll number, M1 and M2. So here first we'll display the message enter the roll number. We'll take the roll number as C in roll number. Then we'll display the message C out, enter the 2 marks. We'll take 2 marks as C in M1, M2. Our class student will end here. Then second class is class sports. Here in protected we'll have one data member integer SM. SM will be sports marks. In public section we will have one member function void get SM. Here we'll start with the member function. We'll ask for the sports mark and we'll take the sports marks from the user C in SM. Our member function will end and our class declaration will end. Now we will have our third class, class statement : public student, public sports. So this is a class which will inherit student and sports class in a public mode. Now here we will have two private data members integer, total and average. And in a public section we will have one member function void display. Here we will have total as equal to M1 plus M2 plus SM and average will be equal to total divided by 3. Here we will display it on the screen as C out, roll number is roll number, total is total, and average the value of average. Our member function will end and our class will end here. Now we will start with the main program, integer main. Here we are going to declare the object of statement obj. Here first we will call the member function void obj.get, then we will call the member function obj.getSM, then we will call the member function obj.display, and our main function or main program will end. Now when the above code is compiled and executed, it will produce the result as enter the roll number. Suppose the roll number entered is 100, entered the marks for two subjects. Suppose the marks entered are 90 and 80. Then it will ask for the enter the sports marks. Suppose the marks entered are 90. Then it will display the output as roll number 100, total is 260 and average is 86.66. As you can see here, in display function of class statement, we can access the data members M1, M2 and SM directly. There is an ambiguity in multiple inheritance. When two base classes having the same name for their functions and data, ambiguity arises when they are used in a derived class. For example, class A will have one member function in a public section, void display. We are going to display the message hello from A. In class B, again we are going to have a same member function, same prototype for the function display, void display, and we are going to display the message hello from B. Now in the above example, class C is inherited from both the classes A and B. Then there is an ambiguity that how to access the display function in class C, whether it should be the display of A or whether it should be the display of B. In this situation, it is possible to use the scope resolution operator with class names to functions for accessing the functions of individual class. So inside class C, if you want to call a display of A and B, then it is done as follows. In class C, we will inherit the two classes as public A, comma public B. In public, we are going to write a member function void display, and here we are going to call a display of A as A : display, that is a scope resolution operator, and B : display, that is a display function of class B, and then we will end our display member function and the main class C. Now let us see one more example of scope resolution operator. Here we are going to have class A as a base class. We are going to define the member function in the public as void display. We are going to display the message C out capital A. Our member function will end and our class will end. Class B : public A. In class B, we are inheriting the class A in a public mode. In the public section, we are defining the same function void display. Here we are displaying the message as C out B. Our class will end. Now here in the above code, the derived class and the base class both are having the same prototype for a member function display. So it is possible to invoke the function defined in A by using the scope resolution operator to specify the class. For example, we can declare the object of class B as B small b. Now to invoke the display function of class B, we can call it as B.display. To invoke the display function of class A, we can use the scope resolution operator as B.A : display, and to invoke the display in B, we can call it as B.B : display. Now the next type of inheritance is hierarchical inheritance. In this type of inheritance, the behavior of one class may be inherited by more than one class. In this type of inheritance, multiple classes share the same base class. Number of base classes inherits the properties of one common base class. The derived class again may become the base class for another class. For an example, the class base class, that is the first class first derived class second derived class, and class third derived class. As you can see in a following figure, there are 4 classes: class A, class B, class C and class D, and class A has been derived in class B, class C and class D. In the example of C++, we will define class A as a main base class B : public A, class C : public A, class D : public A. So all the 3 classes B, C, D will inherit the same base class A. Now let's see a program to calculate the square and cube of a number using the hierarchical inheritance. Now here we are going to define three classes. The main class is side, which will be inherited in a class square and in a class cube. In class side, we will have one protected data member integer I. In public, we will have one member function void set values. It will accept the parameter as integer x and it will be assigned to the data member I equal to x. Our class will end. We will have the class square colon public side. In the public section, we will have one member function sq which will return I into I. Our member function will end and the class will end. We will have a third class, class cube colon public side. In public section, we will have a member function integer cube. It will return I into I into I. Our member function will end and our class will end. Now we will start with the main function. Here we will have the object of class square s. First we will call the value as, we will call the member function as s dot set values 10. Now we will display the message, the square value is s dot sq end L. Now we will declare the object of class cube c dot set values 20. Then we will display the message C out, the cube is c dot cube end L and return 0. So here when the above code is compiled and executed, it will produce the result as the square value is 100 and the cube value is 8000. The next type of inheritance is hybrid inheritance. The method of combining any two or more forms of inheritance in single form is called a hybrid inheritance. Just see the example as shown in the figure. We have four classes, class A, B, C and D. B and C classes will be inherited from class A and class D will inherit the classes B and C. In the first half of the figure shows the hierarchical inheritance. So here we can have class A, class B and class C. So B and C will inherit the class A. The second half of the multiple inheritance is class B, class C and class D. Here as you can see, the class D will inherit two classes, class B and class C. This we can represent using the code as, we will have main class, class A, then we will have class B colon public A, then we can have class C colon public A and then we will have last class, class D colon public B comma public C. Now let us see the program to implement the usage of hybrid inheritance. Here we are going to have the inheritance for the classes. Student is a main class. Then we are going to have two classes, marks and sports. Student will be inherited in marks and sports. Then we are going to have the fourth class as result. The marks class and sports class will be inherited in result. Now let us start and define our classes. Class student, we are going to have one protected data member roll number. In public, we are going to have two member functions, get number and put number. Get number will assign the parameter value A to the roll number. Put number will display the value of roll number on the screen. Now we are going to have a second class as class marks colon public student. Here we are going to have two protected data members, subject 1 and subject 2, and here we are going to have two member functions, get marks and put marks. Get marks will assign the value x to subject 1, y to subject 2. Put marks will display back the values of subject 1, sub 1 and subject 2, sub 2. Then we are going to have the third class, class sports colon public student. Here we are going to have a protected member as float E. In the public section, we are going to have a member function get extra float S. It will assign the value of S to E as E equal to S. Then we are going to have put extra member function which will display back the value of E on the screen, C out extra score E and our class will end. Then we are going to have the last class result which will be inherited from two classes, public marks comma public sports. Here we are going to have the data member as protected float total. In public section, we are going to have a display function void display. Here we are going to do the addition of all the marks and we are going to display it on the screen. So total will be equal to subject 1 plus subject 2 plus E. Then we are going to call a member function put number. Then we are going to call a member function put marks and put extra, and then we are going to display on the screen C out total. And here our class will end. Now we will start with the main program, integer main. Here we are going to display the object of class result as std1. We will first call a member function std1.getNum10. Then we will call the member function std1.getMarks10, 20. Then std1.getExtra 33.12. Then we are going to call a member function std1.display and return 0. Now when the above code is compiled and executed, it will produce the following result as roll number is 10, subject 1 is 10, subject 2 is 20, extra score is 33.12. So the total score is 63.12. Benefits of inheritance. As we have seen, the inheritance is basically used for the reusability feature of object oriented programming. There are three main benefits of inheritance. One is the extensibility, that is polymorphism. New functionality may be easily added without changing the existing classes as long as the new classes extend the given base classes. Second, it will save time and effort. The concept of reusability can be achieved by inheritance because it saves the programmer time and effort. The main code, once it is written, can be reused in various situations as needed. The third benefit of inheritance is reusability. Inheritance helps the code to be reused in many situations. Once the base class is defined and it is compiled, it need not be reworked. By using the concept of inheritance, it is possible to reuse the code in many situations. The programmer can create as many as derived classes from the base class as needed while adding specific features to each of the derived class. Now we will see the concept of virtual base class. Virtual base class is basically used with hybrid inheritance. It is used to avoid the multiple copies of the base class in the derived class. For example, suppose we have a relationship between the classes as the student is a main class. The student is inherited in two derived classes as marks and the sports, and the last class is result in which marks and sports is inherited. Now as you can see here, this is a hybrid kind of inheritance or the diamond inheritance. So here the class student will be inherited twice, once with the marks class and second with the sports class. So in the result class we can have two instances of the class student. So to avoid this, and we should have only one instance of the class student, we are going to use the concept of virtual base class. So what we are going to do, in the marks and the sports class, the base class student will be marked as a virtual base class. So it will guarantee you that the student will come to the result class only one instance, only one copy. Now let us see a program to print the result of the student using the virtual base class. Here our relationship of the classes is the main class is student, which will be inherited in the marks, that is test marks, and the sports class, and result is a class which will be inherited from a test class and sports class. So let us start with the program. Hash include iostream using namespace std, the class student, the roll number is the private data member. In the public section we will have two member functions, get number and put number. Get number will ask for the roll number from the user and put number will display the roll number on the screen. Then we will have a class test where we are going to inherit the class student in a virtual mode. So it will be class test virtual public student. Now here in the public section we are going to have two data members, part 1 and part 2. In get marks, member function will ask the details of part 1 and part 2 from the user, and in put marks will display the details back on the screen for part 1 and part 2. Our third class will be class sports public virtual student. Here also we are deriving the class student in a virtual mode. As you can notice here, in test we have written it as virtual public, and in sports we have written it as public virtual. So public and virtual keywords can be written in any order. We will start with the sports class. Our score is a public, then our get score will ask for the score details from the user, put score will display the score details on the screen. Now we will start with our last class, class result public test public sports. Here the total is by default private. In public section we are going to have a member function display which will have a total equal to part 1 plus part 2 plus score. Then we are going to call the member function put number, put marks, put score, and then we are going to display the total score on the screen. Our display program will end, function will end, and our class will end. We will start with our main function. We are going to declare the object of result class, result obj. We will call the member function as obj.getNumber, obj.getMarks, obj.getScore, and obj.display and return 0. Our main program will end here. When the above code is compiled and executed, it will produce the result as enter roll number. Suppose the value entered is 200, enter marks part 1 90, part 2 80, enter the sports score 80, then it will display the message as total score is 250. Constructors in derived classes. A constructor plays a very important role in initializing an object. As long as the base class constructor does not take any arguments, the derived class need not have a constructor function. But if a base class contains a constructor with one or more arguments, then it is compulsory for the derived class to have the constructor and pass the arguments to the base class constructor. When both the derived and base class contains constructors, the base constructor is executed first and then the constructor in the derived class is executed. In case of multiple inheritance, the base class constructed in the same order in which they appear in the declaration of the derived class. A multi-level inheritance, the constructor will be executed in the order of inheritance. The derived class takes the duty of supplying the initial values to its base class. The constructor of the derived class receives the entire list of required values as its argument and passes them on to the base constructor in the order in which they are declared in the derived class. A base class constructor is called and executed before executing the statements in the body of the derived class. The header line of the derived constructor function contains two parts separated by the colon. The first part provides the declaration of the arguments that are passed to the derived class constructor, and the second part lists the function calls to the base class. Example: the class initialization list or how the constructor list is passed, we will see the example of that. The derived class name D and in bracket will accept all the parameters from the user as integer a1, comma integer a2, comma integer b1, comma integer b2, comma integer d. Then we will pass it to the respective base classes. Then we will have a colon. The base class A will pass two values a1, a2, base class B will pass two values b1 and b2, and here we will assign the value of d1 to D. In the above code, A, a1, a2 invokes the base class constructor A and B invokes the another base class constructor. The constructor D supply the values of a1, a2, b1, b2 and one of its own. The constructors for virtual base class are invoked before any non-virtual base classes. If there are multiple virtual base classes, then they are invoked in the order in which they are declared. Now let us see a program how the constructors are involved in derived classes. We will start with the program #include iostream using namespace std. We will define the class alpha. Here in private section we are going to have a data member integer x. In public section we will have a constructor which will accept the parameter alpha in bracket integer I, x equal to I, see out the alpha is initialized and constructor function will end. We will have one more member function void show x will display the value of x on the screen. Our first class will end. Now we will have a class beta. Here in a private section we will have one data member float y. In public section we will have a parameterized constructor beta float j, y equal to j, see out the beta is initialized. We will have one more member function void show y. Here we will display the value of y on the screen. Our class will end here. Now we will have a class gamma which will inherit class beta and class alpha. So we will have a class gamma as class gamma colon public beta public alpha. Here we are going to have a private data members n and m. In public we are going to have a constructor for a gamma which will accept four parameters gamma, integer a, float b, integer c, integer d, alpha colon alpha a, beta b. Now here the a parameter is passed to the alpha constructor, b parameter is passed to the beta constructor, and in gamma constructor we will have the value m equal to c, n equal to d, see out gamma initialized. Now we will have one more member function show mn. Here we are going to display the value of m on the screen, cout m and cout n, and our class will end. Now we will start with our main program, integer main, gamma g. We are going to pass 4 parameters, 5, 7.65, 30 and 100. We are going to have a slash line, cout slash n. Now we will call a member function g dot show x, g dot show y, and g dot show mn, return 0, and our main program will end. When the above code is compiled and executed, it will produce the result as beta initialized, alpha initialized, gamma initialized, x equal to 5, y equal to 7.65, m equal to 30 and n equal to 100. Now let's summarize the module of inheritance. As we have seen, the inheritance is a method or the means of implementing the reusability property of object-oriented programming. In inheritance, the class can be inherited from more than one classes at more than one levels. The different types of inheritance that are supported in C++ are single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance and hybrid inheritance. In inheritance, we can use the existing code, plus if you want to add new features to the derived class, that can also be done. In inheritance, there are 3 types of visibility modes. Those are public, private and protected. The public derivation means that the derived class can access the public and protected members of the class, but not the private members of the base class. In private mode, the protected and public members of superclass becomes the private members of the derived class. The default visibility mode is private. Member declared as protected is accessible by the member function within its class and any class immediately derived from it. The keywords private, protected and public may appear in any order and in any number of times in the class. In single inheritance, there will be a derived class with only one base class. In multi-level inheritance, there will be one base class, one derived class at one level. In multiple inheritance, a child can have more than one parent. A child can inherit properties from more than one class. In hierarchical inheritance, the behavior of the class may be inherited by more than one class. In this type of inheritance, multiple classes share the same base class. The method of combining any 2 or more forms of inheritance in single form is called hybrid inheritance. Virtual base classes used in virtual inheritance are a way of avoiding multiple instances of a given class appearing in an inheritance hierarchy when using multiple inheritance. If a base class contains a constructor with one or more arguments, then it is compulsory for a derived class to have a constructor and pass the arguments to the base class constructor. The constructor of a derived class receives the entire list of required values as its argument and passes them to the base constructor in the order in which they are declared. The constructors for virtual base class are invoked before any non-virtual base class. If there are multiple virtual base classes, then they are invoked in the order in which they are declared. As we have seen, the inheritance is a method or the means of implementing the reusability property of object-oriented programming. In inheritance, the class can be inherited from more than one classes at more than one levels. The different types of inheritance that are supported in C++ are single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance and hybrid inheritance. In inheritance, we can use the existing code, plus if you want to add new features to the derived class, that can also be done. In inheritance, there are 3 types of visibility modes. Those are public, private and protected.